examples. She has a keen eye for detail, and her cheerful spirit translates into her work, as you would imagine. Today, Kirsten brings us a story about finding unexpected pollination very close to home. Please welcome Kirsten.
Am I here or in the middle? The middle. Yeah.
That's great, because then I can use my whole body to tell my story.
Hi, I'm Kirsten. It's very nice to see you come out today and create this first Hive sense of community. Thank you for being here. Growing up, my little sister Sarah was 5 years younger than me. Good Lord, she followed me all the time. Wanted to do whatever I was doing. How many older siblings do we have here? Okay, cool, so do you know what that feels like? The little ones kind of like tagging along and you're responsible for them and stuff like that. How many youngest siblings do we have here? Okay, cool, I'm talking about y'all. Okay. So we were fast friends during all those early childhood years. And then during adolescence, we started to slip apart. I needed to go do things that I thought were more grown-up things. And she was still trying to follow along, and I was running further and further away. And then I went to college and off to the rest of my life. My sister stayed close to home in Richmond, Kentucky. That's where she went to school as well. And then we both were busy, you know, in your 20s and your 30s, you're building your life, you're building your career, you're building your family, and we would call each other, just catch up, kind of on a superficial level, how you doing, we're good. All right, talk to you later. And that would be every few months, so not like this anymore. Really kind of like happy, proud of each other, but just doing our thing. She is raising 2 boys, and I've got my daughter. I get a phone call early in January 2016. My sister says, the doctor called me last night. I've been feeling tired after the holidays, and the doctor said, pack your bags. You're getting checked into the hospital tomorrow, and we're gonna throw the most serious chemo we can at you. You have acute myeloid leukemia, stage 3. This is not a drill. So she calls me, and I'm astonished. Now, I'm a school teacher too, which means I can't just drop things and go. So I wait until there's this quick little vacation. About the 3rd week of January, I fly down to Kentucky. Meanwhile, I've been researching, you know, the Google MD that you do, and it only adds to your anxiety. Fly down, hanging out in the hospital with her, and I can tell she's shaky, strong but shaky. And I talk to her husband, hang out with her boys, and I make the commitment in my mind, every spare moment I'm gonna be down here. And I talk to my husband, he's like, absolutely, every spare moment, go down. So that whole year of 2016, she wound up to be in the hospital for 127 days, during which her 2 little boys were not allowed to visit at all. Anyone who has raised small children can't conceive. That was probably the hardest detail for her. So I began to think I would record my sister reading a bedtime story and bring and show it to the boys at night, like, here's your mom reading you a story. But everyone was in overwhelm mode. The day after her birthday is July 6th, July 7th, my sister received a bone marrow transplant that saved her life. I was not the donor. The saddest day of my life was finding out that I wasn't a match for my own sister, because all I wanted to do was like, please take my bone marrow. But her life was saved, and then began the process, the slow healing process And she developed graft versus host, which means her body was rejecting the cells. She's still on the planet. Spoiler. She's still on the planet and she's amazing. But she has to cope with infusions and impact on her skin and her digestive system and her eyes and her fascia and her proprioception, her ability to perceive where she is. And she's got neuropathy in her feet, so she's got kind of a lot going on. But one of the things that she has chosen to do with this bonus part of her life is to give back, because she remembers what it feels like to be on that bone marrow transplant ward waiting for the procedure, wondering if you're going to make it. She said she noticed quite a lot of people had no visitors at all. And if you know my sister, she's super social. So what she did was she created something she calls the Zinnia Project, which is why I brought this little prop. And I drew a bouquet of zinnia flowers for her. And what she does is she remembers the products she needed when she was in the hospital. They give you a stiff little nasty toothbrush, and when you've got chemo, your gums are so sensitive, so she puts these really soft toothbrushes in. And very soft, comfortable, like scarves for your head after you lose your hair, and unscented chapstick because anything can make you queasy. And then she puts in little quotes and little drawings and little coloring pages. And you can't see it, but I'm covered with goosebumps right now, because the unexpected human pollination that I experienced was rediscovering my little sister and being there for her every step of the way, and now helping her to spread sunshine and joy in the darkest hours of strangers' lives.